Welcome back to Top 10 South Africa. Today we're stepping off the beaten path, away from the fast-paced cities, the modern skylines, and the tourist-flooded hotspots, and venturing into the quiet heart of the country, where South Africa's oldest small towns whisper stories of centuries gone by. Now, of course, everyone knows that Cape Town, founded in 1652, is the oldest settlement in South Africa, and that Stellenbosch, founded in 1679, is the second oldest, both with rich legacies of Dutch, British, and indigenous histories intertwined. But today we're not talking about bustling cities. We're shining a spotlight on the small towns, the lesser known but equally significant places where time seems to have stood still, where heritage lives in the walls of stone churches, dusty back roads, and weathered homesteads. So if you're passionate about history, hidden gems, and soulful travel, this is the list for you. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment telling us if you visited any of these towns. And if you're enjoying the content, consider watching the ads. It's a small act that goes a long way in supporting this channel. Number 10. Aberdeen, Eastern Cape. Tucked quietly into the vast and sun-baked plains of the Karoo, lies the small town of Aberdeen, a place often overlooked on maps but impossible to ignore for anyone drawn to South Africa's older architectural and ecclesiastical heritage. Founded in 1855 by the Dutch Reformed Church as a parish town, Aberdeen grew around its towering NG Kirk, a grand neo-Gothic church built from local sandstone that still dominates the skyline. With fewer than 5,000 residents today, it holds the unmistakable feel of a town built on faith, farming, and tradition. What makes Aberdeen unique isn't just its age, but the sheer preservation of its Victorian, Edwardian, and Karoo-style architecture, more than 200 heritage structures, many dating back to the 1800s. Its wide, dusty streets are flanked by corrugated iron homes, hand-carved lintels, and tranquil gardens framed by whitewashed walls. The town even boasts ties to literary figures, including the family of Olive Schreiner. For visitors today, it's a place of introspection, where heat shimmers on the horizon, donkeys stroll the streets, and time seems to trickle like molasses. It's a forgotten corner of the Eastern Cape where the 19th century lives on, not in museums, but in everyday life. Number 9. Calitzdorp, Western Cape. Nestled between the rugged Swartberg Mountains and the meandering Gamka River, Calitzdorp feels like a rustic dream captured in amber, a town both steeped in history and warmed by the scent of fermenting grapes. While many know Calitzdorp today for its award-winning port wine and artisan vineyards, the town's history dates back to the early 1800s, when it began as a farming outpost. It was officially laid out in 1853 on a farm granted to the Calitz brothers, after whom the town is named. The heart of Calitzdorp beats in its architecture: whitewashed homes, gabled roofs, ornate Victorian trims, and a breathtaking Dutch Reformed church completed in 1857. This church, with its tall spire and stained glass, remains the spiritual and physical center of the town, just as it was nearly 170 years ago. But Calitzdorp's charm isn't only in its buildings. It's in the people who still live close to the land, cultivating vines, olives, and figs the same way their forebears did. It offers something rare, a chance to drink deep from the well of history, not through facts and figures, but through taste, sound, and time-worn tradition. Number 8. New Bethesda, Eastern Cape. New Bethesda is not merely a town, it is an experience. Hidden deep within the Stuurberg Mountains and accessible only by gravel roads, this hauntingly beautiful Karoo village was founded in 1875 as a church settlement and has managed to remain almost untouched by the modern world. With no streetlights, no tarred roads, and a complete absence of commercial franchises, it's one of the few towns in South Africa where the 19th century still feels alive. Life here slows to a near standstill. Donkeys clop down the dusty main street, children ride bicycles past hand-built homes, and the silence is punctuated only by the distant rumble of a windmill. Of course, New Bethesda is best known for the Owl House, the surreal and soul-stirring home of Helen Martins, who transformed her modest house into a world of concrete and glass sculptures during the 1940s and 50s. Owls, camels, wise men, and celestial figures fill the garden and walls, turning the property into a deeply personal expression of mysticism, pain, and beauty. Every corner of New Bethesda tells a quiet story, one of settlers and sand. And it is perhaps that spiritual stillness, the way the past lingers tangibly in the air, that makes this little village one of South Africa's most unforgettable old towns. Number 7, Vakkerstroom, Mpumalanga. High in the misty grasslands of southern Mpumalanga lies Vakkerstroom, a small town with a musical name and a deep historical soul. Officially established in 1859 as Marthinus Wesselstroom, it served as a buffer town between the Zulu Kingdom and the Voortrekker Republic of the Transvaal. Though its population today numbers only a few thousand, Vakkerstroom played outsized roles in both the Anglo-Boer War and Voortrekker migration, functioning as a garrison town and a regional administrative center during the 19th century. Its original courthouse and jail, built in the 1890s, still stand, a stark reminder of the law and order that held frontier life together. But Vakkerstroom is more than its military past. It's a place where rolling wetlands, grass-veld plateaus, and ancient geology meet historic architecture. The town's heart is its Dutch Reformed church, a regal sandstone building dating back to the late 19th century. Whether it's sipping coffee on a foggy morning or walking past century-old walls covered in ivy, Vakkerstroom delivers more than scenic views. It offers a living memory of South Africa's inland frontier. Number 6, Bathurst, Eastern Cape. When you enter Bathurst, it feels as though you've entered the pages of a colonial-era journal. With its winding roads, ancient pubs, and historical landmarks, Bathurst is one of the oldest small towns in the Eastern Cape and one of the most fascinating. It was founded in 1820 to accommodate British settlers arriving to fortify the eastern frontier of the Cape Colony, a bold and controversial experiment in colonization. Perched between Port Alfred and Grahamstown, Bathurst quickly became the heart of British settler life in the region. Many of their descendants still live there today, and it shows in the town's distinct architectural flavor. Think red brick cottages, Georgian sash windows, and sprawling English-style gardens. At the center of town is the iconic Pig and Whistle Inn, which proudly claims to be the oldest continuously licensed pub in South Africa. Built in 1832, it has seen more than just thirsty travelers. It has seen settlers building lives from scratch, soldiers toasting survival after skirmishes, and generations of locals sharing stories under creaking wooden beams. There's also St. John's Anglican Church, completed in 1834, whose cemetery contains the graves of many of the original British families. What makes Bathurst special is how it balances its deeply colonial history with a free-spirited, artistic energy today. It's not just an old town, it's a living museum. Number 5, Philippolis, Free State. In the southern Free State, surrounded by endless grassland and blue sky, lies Philippolis, a town that wears its history like an old wool coat. Well-worn, a little tattered, but full of stories. Founded in 1823 as a mission station by the London Missionary Society, it became one of the earliest homes for the Griqua people under the leadership of Adam Cockthorne. This alone makes Philippolis unique. It's one of the few towns in South Africa that holds strong ties to indigenous and missionary settlement, predating the establishment of most Free State towns by decades. As the town grew, it became a meeting point for diverse cultures: Griqua traders, missionaries, Boer farmers, and later British troops. Many of the original buildings still stand today. The Dutch Reformed Church, built in the mid-19th centuries, has become a symbol of the town's endurance. Philippolis doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't try to be quaint. It simply exists, quietly, stubbornly, with a profound sense of dignity. In many ways, it's a time capsule, not frozen, but preserved by the slow rhythms of rural life and the respect its community holds for its unusual and deeply layered history. Number 4, Prince Albert, Western Cape. Just beyond the imposing Swartberg Mountains, in a fertile valley touched by desert winds and mountain streams, sits the exquisite town of Prince Albert. Officially founded in 1842, though early farms in the area date back to the mid-1700s, Prince Albert is one of those rare small towns that has managed to keep its historic core completely intact. What started as a simple farming community has grown into a treasure trove of Cape Dutch, Victorian, and Karoo architecture, all cradled in one of the most beautiful valleys in the Western Cape. The town is named after Queen Victoria's consort, Prince Albert, reflecting its British colonial roots. The Francie Pienaar Museum, located in a former Victorian house, showcases everything from fossil collections and farming tools to relics from sand inhabitants and early settlers. The Swartberg Pass, built by Thomas Bain and still considered one of the most beautiful mountain passes in the world, connects the town. Prince Albert's timeless charm is not just in its architecture or its fruit orchards, but in its people. Number 3. Toolbach, Western Cape. At the head of a fertile valley cradled by the Witzenberg and Winterhoek Mountains, the town of Toolbach lies like a historical tapestry unfurled across the landscape. Officially founded in 1795, Toolbach is one of South Africa's oldest inland settlements and was named after Rick Toolbach, a former governor of the Cape. Though small, this town is rich in heritage, particularly along Church Street, which features the largest concentration of original 18th and 19th century Cape Dutch buildings in the country. Each house is a monument, whitewashed walls, thatched roofs, and green shutters that have witnessed earthquakes, revolutions, and revivals. Toolbach's most defining historical moment came in 1969, when a devastating earthquake shattered nearly every building in the town. But instead of abandoning its past, the people of Toolbach painstakingly restored every heritage building to its former glory. Today, the town is also a center of culture, home to art galleries, wine estates, and festivals. Yet it has never lost its old-world soul. Toolbach is a place where history doesn't just survive, it blossoms season after season, like the vines that wrap around its walls. Number 2, Grahamstown, Maconda, Eastern Cape. Known historically as Grahamstown, and more recently renamed Maconda, this town is more than just a heritage site. It is a living, breathing paradox of South Africa's colonial, military, educational, and spiritual histories. Founded in 1812 by Lieutenant Colonel John Graham as a military outpost during the Frontier Wars, the town grew into a major administrative and educational center under the British, who saw it as a stronghold for expanding colonial influence into the Eastern Cape. With its elegant cathedrals and Victorian-era school buildings, it soon became known as the City of Saints for its many churches, but it was also a city of soldiers, revolutionaries, and thinkers. Today, Maconda is home to Rhodes University, one of the most prestigious institutions in the country, and the annual National Arts Festival, a vibrant expression of post-apartheid creativity. But beneath its lively modern surface lies a powerful historic core. The 1820 settlers' monument, Fort Selwyn, and the Cathedral of St. Michael and St. George all speak to a time when this was the front line between British forces and Xhosa resistance. Maconda is a place where history is not settled, but wrestled with, where the echoes of the past aren't distant, but debated in classrooms, churches, and street corners. It's one of South Africa's oldest towns, and also one of its most intellectually alive. Number 1, Swellendam, Western Cape. And at number 1, we arrive at the Grand Dame of South African small towns, Swellendam. Officially founded in 1745 as a magisterial district by the Dutch East India Company, Swellendam is the third oldest settlement in the country, after Cape Town and Stellenbosch, and by far the oldest small town with a fully preserved colonial and architectural legacy. Named after then-Governor Hendrik Swellengrebel and his wife Helena, the town quickly developed into a thriving agricultural and administrative hub. It was even briefly an independent republic in 1795 when its citizens rebelled against the Dutch East India Company and declared themselves free. A bold act that was crushed shortly after, but one that reveals the fiercely independent spirit of this town. Today, Swellendam is a beautifully maintained window into the 18th and 19th centuries. Its streets are lined with Cape Dutch, Georgian, and Victorian architecture, while its backdrop of the Langeberg Mountains adds a dramatic natural frame to this historical masterpiece. Strolling through Swellendam feels like stepping into a living diorama of early Cape life. Ox wagons, thatched roofs, oak-lined avenues, and buildings that have watched centuries unfold. Yet the town isn't just about the past. It thrives today as a center for artisanal food, small-scale farming, and heritage tourism. Swellendam is more than South Africa's oldest small town. It is a living monument to perseverance, beauty, and the value of honoring one's history. And there you have it, a journey through South Africa's oldest small towns, where the past still lingers in sandstone walls, dusty roads, and stories passed from one generation to the next. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time and heritage. If you enjoyed exploring these remarkable towns with us, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with friends and fellow travelers who love history as much as you do. We'd love to hear from you. So drop a comment below and tell us which of these towns you've visited or which one you're adding to your travel bucket list. Until next time, this is Top 10 South Africa, bringing you closer to the places, people, and stories that make this country truly unforgettable.